What's going on, guys? Bomby Teacher in the house, and I'm here with the Week 3 Power Rankings for the GPL. But this time I'm not alone. I'm joined by my friend, co-host, and commissioner of the league, Dinistrio. Come say hi, man.
Yeah, what's going on, people?
Alright, so as always with these power rankings, they are results based, so they are going to be based on win-loss and differential as the tiebreaker. We will of course be adding our opinions. Please bear in mind these are our opinions. Of course you're more than welcome to disagree with us, but we do try and keep everything as fact-based as possible, because we don't want anyone to be upset with us. We're doing this for fun. I've never done this before. I do want to thank everyone actually who did respond to me, give me a lot of feedback either privately or through comments on my last video. It's very nice to hear that, so we're going to try and do the same model again. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about number 16, shall we? I'll let you take the first one. It's going to be Crimpix.
Hey, it's my opponent from week 3. Ooh, let's have a look. He's definitely trying. I feel like he's got that like oomph, but he just hasn't got that little push to get that win just yet, you know. Fortress was an easy setup, you know. What else? A lot of his Pokemon are a bit slow in regards to reacting to a sort of setup, I feel, at the moment. So, you know, that it makes anybody just easily set up on that team, you know, at the moment.
I think the thing that he's getting punished by the most, though, is one, he's not bringing Gardevoir at all. I feel like Gardevoir actually fits his team incredibly well. There's a lot of things that Gardevoir does that his team's missing. But alongside that, it's like you talk about the slow team. That in itself isn't necessarily bad. He does actually have 2 Trick Room setters in that Victini and the Gardevoir. So he could actually potentially run Trick Room setup. He does have a Snorlax, which is phenomenal in Trick Room. He has a Rhyperior, which is phenomenal in Trick Room. Right? Even a couple of other mons that are like mid-speed tier actually do pretty well in Trick Room. But what he's doing is he's not bringing Trick Room, so even some of his slower mons are just getting outpaced. But alongside that, he's playing really passive right now. So, I remember actually an opportunity in your match, actually. He has Rhyperior in against your Scarf Lycanroc. And obviously with Brick Break 2-shot in the Rhyperior, I actually calced the Rhyperior set that he brought. He actually would have one-shot you with Earthquake. But instead he clicked Toxic instead. And it's like he doesn't take the initiative when he gets the chance to use it. He plays a little passive, and that's where inexperience really does show. Because like a more experienced player with this team would be hitting incredibly hard right now, and certainly wouldn't be 0-3. But Crimpix is learning. He is completely brand new to competitive Pokemon, so in fairness to him, he hasn't been 6-0 swept every game, and he has been slowly improving every week. So it's not like he's here because he's bad, he's here because he's learning. And there are
he is definitely getting better.
There are some serious competitors in this league that have been around competitive for years, you know. It's a hard league to get into. It is a baptism of fire for him. But he is definitely showing that he's got some potential there. He has been watching a lot of videos. I know he's mentioned watching quite a few videos in Discord recently. I don't know if he's watching mine, but he better be.
Well, how else is he gonna learn?
Shameless plug, but yeah. I do think he's got potential. I think he will pick up at least one win this season. And so hopefully we get to see him come up a little bit further up.
Just a quick word of advice as well. I noticed this. If you are gonna run Toxic, dude, try and bring some Protect on some mons. It definitely helps you in the Toxic stall. Just saying.
Yeah, his team doesn't have my little advice. Stall, like, I can see where he's coming from. I think his team doesn't have the best stalling options. He's got mostly like offensive sweepers, like that Bishop and the Luxray. Rhyperior is a solid physical offense. He doesn't really have stall-ish mons. Like he doesn't. Yeah. So I think a little bit of rebalancing might help. Maybe put a bit of defensive mons in there. Maybe an additional Trick Room setter if there's a couple still going. I think there are still a couple in free agency that haven't been picked up. Might be worth considering if he wants to consider Trick Room as a viable option. I would. Right, so the next two, rank 15 and rank 14 with Leche and 2D, we're not going to talk about because they didn't play the match this week. It's not really worth talking about. There's nothing to talk about. It's highly likely that they may get replaced soon. Unless their actual attitude towards the league improves. It is quite concerning But hopefully, if there are 2 people waiting, we'll get some more matches going for you from those guys.
Yeah, it'll either be a replacement or just straight up whoever gets the first one gets a free win. But I really don't want to go down that route, so I'm going to try my best to find replacements in that regard.
So if you're watching this and you're a spectator at a league and you might want to try your hand, feel free. If you're also from the PUL, I know a few of you guys are still watching these vids. If you're interested in joining, hit up Dinistrio or hit me up in the comments and I'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah. Everyone's welcome to join the Discord. Shameless self-plug for my own now.
I'll have it linked in the description down below as well, so feel free to come and have a look.
Cool.
Alright, rank number 13 is going to be a bit of a surprise win, I think it's fair to say, with Sylvie and the Miami Sylvians.
My favourite boy.
Our favourite boy, he's a very well-known face, of course. His match looked all but doomed. Like, I'm looking at his matchup and I'm thinking, he doesn't win. There's no way. Like, we see a mono psychic attacking Megaladios against a Tyrannodon. Like, he's not winning, right? And then somehow he manages to stall out the Tyrannodon that got burned, and literally pull out a 1v6 win with Carmine Recover, Psychic, and I can't even remember his last move, but it wasn't damage.
What was it? It was Protect.
Yeah, Protect.
Wish. No, Protect, Recover, Psychic, and Carmine. There we go.
He literally 1v6s, so Dizzy broke the rule that Sylvie always loses, so I think we might have to have some reprimand. No, I'm joking. We're not having some reprimand for that. But take nothing away from Sylvie. Like, he did everything he had to do to win that game. Like, being able to set up 3 Carmines on a Megaladios without being beaten is pretty hard to do. But
see, that Tyranitar that Dizzy bought was lit, right? It did so much damage. But if that Tyranitar wasn't mixed, that Latios would have been screwed. So it was a godsend, and it's Dizzy's ultimate downfall at the same time.
But then again, if he'd have ran pure physical, the burn would have killed him off any damage. So he had to be mixed to make Dark Pulse viable. So
if it was physical, I don't think Dizzy would have. I think he would have played more carefully around the burn potential.
Potentially, yeah. It's hard to tell, of course. Like, his prep obviously made a lot of sense. Like, you look at Dizzy's team prep, it made a lot of sense. Like, I could justify every pick. But we'll talk a lot more about Dizzy coming into the next parts. But yeah, I think I better do the next one, given who it is. Rank number 12 is a very handsome fella called Dinistrio, coach of the Swansea Surge Surfers. Finally getting his first win. Took him long enough, but no. I'm joking, of course. But he made a few changes to his team, and I said in my video last week that these changes definitely help improve his team a lot. It gives him an offensive focal point, particularly around that Beedrill. Beedrill actually didn't do too much this week, but he did.
None of my changes made any difference. I had a U-turn on the Beedrill, then all the rest were just the Pokemon I'd had originally.
Yeah,
None of my changes did anything.
But even still, like, it meant that you had to, or like, Crimpix had to prepare for something much harder to beat. Because if I had to choose between prepping for a Mega Ordino or prepping for a Mega Beedrill, give me that Ordino prep every time, right? It's much easier to prep for. So it put a lot more offensive pressure on. And obviously the use of the Lycanroc, especially the Choice Scarf set, is pretty strong. It does lack a little bit of damage output. It's not as powerful as the Lycanroc Duskform, but it does still hit pretty hard. And being able to punish a passive opponent is one of the key ways to be able to win a Draft League battle. We do talk a lot about passive plays. I talk a lot about it as well, where I feel like if you play too passive, you get punished very easily. But it will be interesting to see what happens moving forward, because you have to play me, I believe, in 2 weeks' time. And I think you still have to play Shadow as well, so...
I played Shadow, he's the guy who sticks out with me.
But you gotta play him again, so...
Oh, yeah, fun fact about that, we've actually agreed to swap teams for that game, so we're gonna do picks in the teams.
I saw that, that's gonna be a very fun match, I can't wait for that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can pick up some more wins going through the season. He got some tough
starting this week.
Yeah, well, you never know, Huddle Penguin's a tough opponent, like, he's not easy to play against.
I know.
Speaking of Huddled, how about we talk about him next, seeing as he's rank 11?
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Ooh, Huddled. Oh, man. What's his record? 1-2? Man.
He's 1-2 and -5 differential. He got 6-0'd by me this week.
It's just so unfortunate that he has to have gone up against, like, really good players really early on. Because this guy is... I just love watching his games, honestly. They're all so fun to watch.
Yeah, obviously he has had help with his team building. I said it before, I've helped him with his team builds, but a lot of what I do with him more specifically, because somebody actually asked me about this, is like, do you not think it's unfair if you're building his team? It's like, I don't actually build his team. What I actually do is he sends me a starting point of this is what he thinks of, and then I look at it and I say, well, how'd you beat this? And how'd you beat that? And if he hasn't got an answer, that's where we start making the edits to the team just to polish it up. He has had a bit of competitive knowledge before. He has played a bit of Showdown Ladder, but he is brand new to draft, so this whole format is pretty hard to get used to, and he has struggled a little bit. One of the things that limits Huddled a little bit is he's very reliant on Smogon sets. So that is something that can make him a little predictable moving forward. What he will need to do, of course, what I've been trying to help him with is just to fine-tune like certain nuances that happen in Draft League that you don't see in Showdown Ladder, because you're not going to win with standard sets. You're going to get found out and punished every single week.
Yeah, key to draft leagues is the element of surprise. You need to prep for your opponent, bring what they're not going to expect you to bring, or bring what's going to be good versus your opponent. You know.
In fairness, who predicts weakness policy Cresselia to come? Like, but yeah, I'll talk about that when we get to me. But that was definitely a fun aspect for me. All right. Next up is the biggest mover coming up this week is actually going to be Crasher, the Melbourne Macagas. I'm so happy we finally got to see this, because I was quite damning of it last week, particularly of his attitude and how he's applied himself so far. And I know how good he is. I've played him in P1 and he crushes me every time I've played him, right? He's a very, very strong player. And this time round, we unfortunately didn't actually get to see the replay. But I'd love to see
I don't have a clue what happened.
Pull out a 6-0 win over our newcomer to the league, Pelly, of course. But he had to play well. If you get a 6-0, you've got to be on your game. Like, you've got to play well regardless. Now the question is, can Crasher continue to adapt to the Draft League format? And can he continue to push out wins, which we know he's capable of doing? It's obviously, we're quarter of the way through the season now. We're 3 weeks in. It's a 12-week regular season. And there's a lot of games to be played. So there's plenty of chances for upsets. There's plenty of chances for a lot of wins or losses. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get some consistency behind him, because I talk about it in my old Draft League video where I did my Let's Talk, that consistency is one of the key points for anybody to be able to win a Draft League. You're not going to win a game by being inconsistent. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's true. And plus getting the sort of, what you call it, the momentum from back-to-back wins is also going to help boost your confidence in making game-changing plays. So, you know, we'll see what happens that one.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Right. Rank number 9 this week is a non-mover, actually, despite an unfortunate loss this week, is Dizzy, the Dizzy Wishmakers. You know him very well, Dinistrio, so how about you talk about this one?
Yeah, I could say I've known him, I don't know, over half of his lifespan, but yeah, Dizzy came out with fists flying this week, and that Tyranitar, I just want to bring it up again, it was so fun to watch, just that Tyranitar Thunderbolt critting that Keldeo, you know?
Oh, that was amazing. That was so
it's just so good, but obviously fell short to the Latios in the end, which is unfortunate. It definitely, as bad as it sounds, or as negative as it should have been Dizzy's win. Unfortunately, it wasn't.
Absolutely.
That's literally the game we play in terms of Pokemon. Things can just turn around in a snap of a finger.
Yeah, I mean,
but
he had some RNG in his favor, and then RNG took it away from him later on.
Yeah.
I think his prep is very strong. Like, his teams that he brings, like, every week I've watched his team builds, and I've looked at his sets. It makes so much sense. Like, you're not watching a player that has no idea what they're doing, and you're not watching someone that's bringing a set for the fun of it. You're watching someone that's got rationale and thought process behind his teams, and you can see it by watching. So obviously he's much better than his 1-2 record and -2 differential. I do expect to see him pick up quite a few wins this season and come flying up the rankings. I think he's got a strong team. There are a couple of pitfalls to it that can be exploited, but they're kind of small pitfalls. They're not like, oh, you got no hazard removal or anything like that. They're not like massive Draft League mistakes that you can't afford to make. And he does still have all of his free agency picks still as well, so he can still readjust and rebalance his team if he can see where his pitfalls are.
Right, like you said it best. To be honest, Dizzy's one of Dizzy's strongest feats are his ability to team build. Like he is the reason I go to him before anyone else when it comes to opinions on teams. He does have that sense of, and he like how to build the teams, and he also in battle he can make those decisions that I would sit there and consider, but he's just like, no, come on, dude, just do it. He's kind of that guy.
Yeah. He does make the nice aggressive plays. Like I talked about passivity earlier with Grimbigs. Like Dizzy's the opposite. Like he's the guy that makes the aggressive play, and he's gonna make a play on you. You just know it's gonna happen.
He's still quite new to draft too, so I mean he's adapted pretty quickly and efficiently, I think.
Yeah, we do have some very impressive rookies this season. I'm not gonna lie. They're giving some of our familiar faces a run for their money.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing them improve, and hopefully they join next season and continue to improve.
Speaking of familiar faces, let's talk about this monstrosity of a physical wall-breaking team in Team Agoshi. Agoshi, unfortunately, this week, well, actually, fortunately for him, he definitely prayed a lot to RNGesus this week because he got so many key misses from his opponent that it managed to finally help him get through the light.
That
the
high jump
kick miss on the Weavile was a big one, and also the Rock Blast miss from the Cloister later on. Those misses really won in the game. That high jump kick miss from Exostomp's Halucha was a risk, and I did talk to Exo about this as well, actually, that it might have been better for him to have had Drain Punch, because he didn't need the damage to Drain Punch O-Code Weavile anyway. So, and Exo did realize that after the battle. He was like, I probably should have favored accuracy over power in that instance. But nonetheless, though, it doesn't take away anything from the fact that Goshi took a 4-0 win. His team build was far better this week. Last week, his team against me, very frail, no hazard removal, nowhere near the standard of Agoshi's team building that we've seen before. This week was much more like the team I thought he would actually bring against me. In fact, I looked at my battle scene at the start before I did my actual battle video against him. Aside from Lantern over Starmie, he brought exactly what I thought he would bring against me. So, that kind of team is so powerful though. If he brought that every week, I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up more wins. It's so hard, especially with that Darmanitan. Getting the Mega Morwhile in the right position to pick up more than a couple of kills is going to be the key for him to get easier wins. And that's one thing he has struggled with so far. But nonetheless, he's getting kill after kill after kill. Like, he's gonna kill you eventually. He's got such a hard team to break.
You keep knocking someone, it's gonna shatter eventually, especially with freaking Mawile around.
Yeah, Morwhile, Crocodile if he's running it offensive, Darmanitan. These are things that on their own are hard to prepare for. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how well he does for the rest of the season.
I can't wait for him to whip out the Trick Room. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be hella fun. Trick Room Special Zenmo Darmanitan. Bring it, Agoshi, I dare you. I'm joking, of course. Right, so coming in at rank number 7 this week, we're going to have a bit of a replacement going on. Unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances, Titania's had to step away for the time being. We do, of course, wish Titania well. He's a very good friend to the league, good friend of a lot of us. Of course, our door's always open if you ever need any help, anything like that.
Yeah, man.
We're always here for
all the best regards, But we've got that replacement for Gaza, and he'll be stepping in for the Loyal Makakos?
I don't know. Team, yeah. Gaza is someone I actually know quite well as well. I've known him from the Pokemon community for quite some time. Very, very smart player, very good team builder. As far as I know, he's never drafted though. He might be able to correct me if I'm wrong on that, so it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to the Draft League format. But I know he's very creative with his team builds. I know he's got a lot to offer with his actual battling pedigree. He's much like Thrasher in that sense. He's a phenomenal battler. So how he can adapt to the Draft League format is going to be what defines how well he does in the coming few weeks. But I'm excited. I can't wait to watch his matches.
Yeah. There's so much stuff to look forward to in this league. I'm really starting to enjoy this experience now.
So far. Alright, coming in at rank number 6 is going to be our newcomer. Unfortunately, this week took his first loss. The high praise didn't quite fit for him this week.
Mr. Eager. Finally in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. But I like his attitude. I like his excitement in the league. I like the fact that he's willing to make so many changes to his team and have a go. and that's the one thing I like. Unfortunately, this week we didn't get to see his match versus Crasher, so I don't know how it went so badly. It is worth noting as well, Pelly has actually played his week 4 match as well. For the purpose of this, though, I'm not going to include it in this week's power ranking as it is a week 4 match, but it will come in next week and it might have a bit of an interesting story for the power rankings, but we'll talk about that next.
If there's any advice that I could give you, Pelly, don't rush, dude. It's not a race. Just take it easy. Use the week to your advantage and build that team. Don't, there's no prize for getting your batch done before I even get a chance to update the dock. Come on now.
You don't have to do all 12 matches in 1 week. It's fine, dude. Right? You can take your time.
Just breathe.
A lot of people choose to take like half a week to build a team. Maybe do a couple of practice matches. I know I've offered to help practice with a couple of people a few times and stuff like that. I'm more than happy to do that. And then I tend to do my matches later in the week when I've had a good think about my team build and stuff like that. Just slow yourself down and don't worry, alright? You will pick up wins this season, I have no doubt. Your team is pretty strong. I still don't agree with some of the changes, but make it work, man. Prove me wrong, right? I'm happy to be proven wrong. Oh, dear. Coming in at ranking number 5 this week is someone I'm massively impressed with, despite an unfortunate loss this week. Exostomp has really taken the Draft League incredibly well. Like, if you looked at Exostomp's play, and if you ever have a chance to watch his stream, where he actually streams his battles, if you actually get the chance to watch him, he doesn't look like an inexperienced player at all. Like, he actually looks like someone who's been doing this for a long time. He has played draft in other games, though, and things like Hearthstone, so in a way he has some understanding of how draft works, but Pokemon's a very different animal. There's so many things that can go into a Pokemon Draft League. But with it this week, unfortunately, RNG's has kind of failed him. 2 very important misses lost him the game. I think it's fair to say. It is an unfortunate loss. It isn't the worst thing in the world for him, of course. Still, he's 2-1, which is impressive for a starting player. And he has a very good team. I do like the fact that he has changed Comfy that didn't fit for his team for Delphox, giving him an additional bit of type coverage. He didn't have a fire or psychic type going into next week, so that's what we're looking at now. So he is trying to rebalance his team. His team is strong. Like, it's a standard Tapu Koko Holucha draft, but it is incredibly powerful, and it's hard to press for.
Major props to the Glalie, that's the word. The Glalie Mega. I love that Mega. I used that Mega in a draft league about a year ago, and whew, boy, does it pack one hell of a punch.
It does. Especially with that Refrigerate boosting up the Ice type moves, making Return and Double Edge just hit like a monster.
Plus,
it gets Earthquake, it gets Spikes, it also can explode. Like, it has so many things that it can do. It's
got all that, plus one of the other things, it's got equal attack and special attack, so you could run Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, that kind of move as well, and it's a monster.
The one thing it is a little bit holding it back is it's only 100 base speed, so it does get outsped by a lot of its counters, but...
And its move pool is a bit limited.
Yeah, like, it does get Ice Shard though, it does get Freeze Dry, so it does have a few little options that can be a little tricky. But yeah, like, what Exo should do, and it's something that I've talked to him about, it's something he's recognized on his own, is sometimes don't take risks with high power moves that can miss. Because sometimes, especially when you've got something like an Unburden boosted Holucha, you just want to kill them with damage, right? Even if you're running SD. If you're running SD, Drain Punch is perfectly fine. Drain Punch will kill most things that fighting hits super effectively. At +2, you don't need High Jump Kick and risk the miss and lose half your health. It's not worth the risk. So that's one thing I'm looking to see from Exostomp, is just adjust his movesets to be a little bit safer and a bit more cleaner and be able to eke out these wins a little bit more consistently. Because his mentality is brilliant. Like, he's got so much composure. Like, when you watch his battles, he's very calm, he's very level-headed, he calcs when he needs to, he makes a lot of sense as to how he plays. And I like the fact that he doesn't get completely angry when he loses a mon to a bad player or a crit or anything like that. Like, that's a good mentality to have, and that's probably why he's been as strong as he has throughout the tournament so far.
I'm really looking forward to his next match too, against Shadow. Man,
That's going to be a
Two
close
really
game.
good players. Oh, I'm really looking forward to it.
And then he plays me in week 5, so it's going to be even better. Then he has to play Transfer in week 6. So he's
Man, this guy's got a hard couple of
hard
weeks.
schedule. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if he picks up at least 1 win out of the next 3 or 4. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Alright, coming in at number 4, taking a bit of a drop this week after an unfortunate loss to the Transfer effect. Shadow X of the Shiroi Shadows. He did have one special merit. He is the first person to kill one of Transil's Pokemon in the tournament. It has taken three matches to do it, but unfortunately he could not beat a bulk up Z-Bounce Zeraora. His only answer to it was Venusaur, and it took 89% and got 1 shot. So, but this doesn't mean that Shadow is by any means a bad player at all. We all know how good Shadow is. Shadow won the league last season. Like, if that doesn't say anything, like, he's a very hard battler. I'm not looking forward to playing him, but he's got a lot to offer. His team is very bulky. It's very strong. I do think he has easily got the room to be climbing back up the rankings again. I would not at all be surprised to see him higher up again.
I was actually talking with him earlier, and we were going through some strategies for the next upcoming games. And let's just say, Shadow's bringing some fire next this battle. Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
I would not be surprised. One thing I know, and I have a lot of respect for about Shadow, is how well he uses his Mons move balls. Like, he brings such diverse strategies that it's not going to be like, oh, he brought that last week, I'll prepare for that, because then he'll have something else, right? He's just got that mindset where his creativity in the draft league space is so strong that you don't know what he's going to do, right?
Well, you're not going to be disappointed this week, I'm telling you that now.
No, I can't wait to watch that match then. Alright, coming in at rank number 3 is a non-mover. I've got the name right this week. Thank you, DJ, for pointing out that I had the name wrong. And Dinistrio, you put the name wrong in the doc, but that's fine. We'll sort that out. But yeah.
No, my doc's perfect, sharp.
Yeah, it is in the rosters tab, but in his actual match page it's wrong. It's a bit messed up, which is where I got it from, so I got it wrong. But anyway, DJ, the DJ Darkness, unfortunately he didn't play this week because of Titania having to drop, but it means he gets a 3-0 win. But to be fair, the guy's rain team is incredibly strong. I would have no doubt in my mind he probably would beat Titania's team, but at the same time, like, his consistency is proving to be pretty decent at the moment. As I said last week, and it's something that I'm interested to see, is how well he plays against the more experienced players, and how well he can maintain his consistency. Because this is a very strong start for him. I love Rain. Anyone that's known me for a long time knows me. I'm a Rain specialist. Rain is my favorite team by any stretch, so I'm always happy to see a Rain team in the top 3. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, I'd like to see him against some other people who have the weather setters, like maybe I think he gets to fight Sylveon at one point.
Yeah, I
might already have.
If I want to bring it, but I don't have.
Or Dizzy's Tyranitar, or I don't know. I don't know if he gets to fight Shadow. I don't think he does, but I'm interested to see some Weather Wars.
Yeah, I'm interested to see some Weather Wars too. Or if people actually bring like weather sets to counter him, like someone brings Sunny Day on like a random one or something. It'll be interesting to see if that ever happens. But either way, DJ's a tough player, tough opponent. He's definitely shown decent team building. He's got some good consistency, so let's see if he can maintain it moving forward. Of course, he did play his week 4 match against Pelly already, but as I said with Pelly, that match isn't going to feature in this week's power rankings.
Spoilers.
So I ain't spoiling nothing. I'm not Dinistrio, but we're fine. Alright, rank number 2 is a very handsome man.
I'd say so, yeah. Looking at him right now.
That might be me, yeah. Might be on the screen. That wonderful Royal Bowman for Bumwee's coach. I'll let you take this.
He's got such a cute smile. Anyway. Hey, so I watched your game live on my phone while playing some games. And, man, Cresselia, whew, that fire, that was hot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Now, I'm a big fan of weakness policy as an item. If I could have my way, I would stick weakness policy on every single Pokemon and just send them into battle, but I can't because it would probably be terrible. However, weakness policy, Cresselia, taking advantage of the knockoff from Electros was pretty good play. one gripe I did have with the match was I just wish that he had gone into that Scizor and clicked defog a little sooner, because a few Pokemon died needlessly with that sticky webs. But all in all, well-built team, knew exactly what you were doing, when you were doing it, and how you were doing it. So I got, number 2 spot, well deserved, I think.
Yeah, I liked having the option for weakness policy this week as well. I think it's one thing that I said in the team builder, but it's something that cropped up a lot. Huddled's team has a lot of Dark and Ghost type coverage moves, but he doesn't really have specific types to be able to take advantage of them. So I had the idea in my head originally that I was actually going to run a Trick Scarf Cresselia set and ruin like his defensive core, but that was mostly for his Clefable, which I was very happy not to see coming because that thing's a problem. But yeah, with the whole build, it made a lot of sense. I think there were certain instances like bringing Scizor in earlier that would have made a lot of sense. I think I also punished the fact that Huddle brought 2 fire types. I'm not sure what the rationale for bringing Entei was. I didn't actually get to see Huddle's set. I haven't talked to him about it. But yeah, it's one thing that is noticeable that Huddle's team has his only 2 defoggers until next week are mons that he doesn't want to run defog on. Like, he doesn't really want to run defog on Scizor if he can avoid it, and Charizard certainly doesn't want to take it because it's quite weak to rocks prior to Mega Evolving. So I'm happy to see the Whimsicott come in next week for him. I think that'll be a much better option, giving him a nice defogger that's not weak to rocks. Also very good for Prankster as well with Subseed and things like that. So I'll be interested to see how he adapts to having a new mon on his team that replaces the Entei that was kind of not doing a lot for him.
That's definitely true. I also look forward to Whimsicott. That Pokemon is so versatile, it's just beautiful.
I love the Pokemon. I wanted it, but it just didn't fit my team because I already had Celebi. So, alright.
Are you confident going into your next game?
Yes. I come in with confidence all the time because I think I've got a nice team that I've prepped for. And I've prepped for a few things that I know he hasn't bought yet. But I think one of my favorite things about drafting in general is team building as a whole. I've been using a different strategy to team building than I did last season, where last season I just went on a whim. This season I'm actually putting a lot more time into my builds, and I think it's definitely paying off. It's definitely showing that I'm not as inconsistent as I was last season despite making the final.
Plus no stall, which is happy. It was good to see. No Alamola. So that's whew.
Yeah. Yep, there is definitely that. Alright, rank number 1. Who would have thunk it, right? This guy is a monster. Can someone please beat this guy for us so we don't have to put him rank 1 every week? No, I'm joking, right? Transel, this guy's Zero Aura is insane. This guy's draft is completely broken. We all knew this from post-draft. He's got far too many threats in a row. Zero Aura 2 weeks in a row putting in a shed load of work. Making light work of Shadow like Shadow was made of paper. It just did not go well for Shadow at all. This team is phenomenal. No. Transil's playing it just as phenomenal as his draft is. And there's not really anything negative to say about him, really. He's just too good. Please nerf.
I really want to see him like on the back pedal, because we've seen him so far in the lead. I want to see how he adapts to maybe being behind at some point.
If someone can even put him behind. Like,
thing is, guys, Shadow took a Pokemon down, gods can bleed, alright? If you can take 1 Pokemon down, you can take 6. So, come on guys, let's just step up your game, come on.
Alright, and I did rather joke in the Discord server, like, I'll bring special mods, Delta Choice Specs and Hidden Power Ground, that messes Zero Aura up. But yeah, I'm not bringing that for anyone that's
Well, you said it on the video now, so you have to bring it, otherwise that's just false advertising, you know?
I don't have to play him until, I think, week 7, so we'll see about that. But yeah, this guy's too good. But anyhow, that's gonna wrap up our power rankings for this week. As always, hope you enjoyed. Thanks to Dinistrio, of course, for joining me.
No problemo.
And we are gonna get on out of here. My name is Rabombi Teacher. I'm your coach of the Royal Bournemouth Rabombis. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I will see you guys next time. Take care now.